alive.
Everyone unites with a simple common goal. In a game to which they give their soul. This is the land where legends are made.
Last season, Gary Teichmann lifted the Tri-Nations trophy. Teichmann's gone, and now Joos van der Vesthuizen takes up the South African captaincy on his home ground. Familiar faces recalled as the Springboks look to regain some lost pride and tame the unbeaten All Blacks. So can the man who's been South Africa's hero so many times in the past return to a desperate Springbok side, this time as a saviour? Today is the acid test. It's South Africa against New Zealand from Loftus Versfeld, Pretoria, as the Tri-Nations series approaches boiling point. Well, there's no doubt that Nick Mallett's South Africa are desperate for a win, but with the All Blacks on such a roll, it makes for fascinating viewing, doesn't it? Watching it with us in the studio is former World Cup winning coach and Bristol's director of rugby, Bob Dwyer. Alongside him, as usual, Stuart Barnes. So the altitude of the high veld up here in Pretoria will provide a tough test of fitness for both sides. So without further ado, let's check out the two team sheets. Springboks coach Nick Mallett has made 8 changes to the side that lost 32-6 to Australia in Brisbane 3 weeks ago. Percy Montgomery, the only survivor in a reshuffled backline. Skipper Joos van der Vesthuizen and centres Andre Snyman and Franco Smith make their first appearances of the season, while wings Dion Keyser and Peter Rousseau and fly half Happy Du Toit all earn recalls. Up front, Albert van den Berg returns in the second row, as does flanker Ruben Kruger, who plays his first test in 2 years. Also one positional change as Rassie Erasmus moves off the blind side to number 8. By contrast, the All Blacks, unbeaten all season, are forced to make just 2 changes, with loosehead prop Greg Feek coming in for his first test start for the injured Carl Hoft. On the blind side, Andrew Blowers replaces Dylan Meeker, who's sidelined with knee trouble. Powerful back line means there's still no place in the starting lineup for Jonah Lomu. Well, Bob, if we may, let's start with the All Blacks. What a turnaround from last year and in formidable form.
They are. Actually, in the last 12 or 13 months, they've had a huge turnaround in personnel, plus in form. I think they've actually been getting steadily better over that period, but their big problem is in midfield. They still haven't got that constructive ability that's the hallmark of all the really great sides, and I think they'll struggle unless they get quite a fair amount of superiority in possession.
Stuart, what about the Springboks? What's gone on for them?
Well, it's amazing, isn't it? No tries in the Tri-Nations so far. And the Australian-New Zealand defence, really, they've had all the answers. But South Africa have not posed many questions at all. They've lacked penetration and they have been too predictable. But the changes in personnel will alter that today. Andre Snyman, on his own ground at Loftus, at outside centre, gives them far more pace wide. This try against England, where he leaves Matt Perry for dead, shows his quality with the ball in hand. So that gives them a little bit more option there. Now, as regards penetration, well, Joos van der Vesthuizen is back, again on his home ground. Now, this guy is probably the most incisive attacking midfielder in world rugby. Great pace, superb low body angles. You know, New Zealand know all about this guy. And he'll also give Happy Du Toit a little bit more time today. But perhaps the most important recall is another blue ball, which is Ruben Kruger. Because at Dunedin, Josh Cromfeld had the run of the park against South Africa. He won all the loose ball. Now, Kruger, in '95 in the World Cup final, he quite literally picked up Cromfeld, put it in that muscular pocket of his, and really that closed down the New Zealand attacking game. So Kruger against Cromfield, I think, will be vital this afternoon.
It's ironic, Bob, though, isn't it, that Hart and Randell were under pressure last year. Complete reversal this year. Mallet and Teichmann the ones under the pressure, but supposedly it comes with the territory.
It does, and especially in those two countries, both of them expect to win. South Africa traditionally, and New Zealand, in South Africa's absence for such a long period of time, they expect to win. So if they don't come up with the goods, then they're under pressure. I don't think I'd like to be the non-Afrikaner Mallet at the moment in South Africa. That'll be all blamed on the English.
Absolutely. Well, we can actually, before we do anything else, we can just check the Tri-Nations table as it stands at the moment. New Zealand leading the way on 8 points, courtesy of their brace of victories on home turf. Australia in second on 5, gaining a bonus point for their 4 tries scored in their record-breaking win over the Springboks, who unusually find themselves propping up the table. So, Stuart, where do you think this game will be won and lost today?
Well, I think it's going to be quite interesting in the front row. New Zealand scrummaged superbly well against Australia, but South Africa did as well. Now, with Carl Hooft out, the Otago front row unit has been broken down. I think Os Durant and Kobus Visagi will attack Feek. I think there's quite a difference between Carl Hooft and Feek, and I think they will try and undermine them there, disrupt the rhythm and try and get to Marshall and Mertens, because at the moment, Bob, I think Justin Marshall and Andrew Mertens are just running the show for New Zealand.
Both back to top form. Mertens clearly the best fly half in the world at the moment, and that's important for them. I actually agree the set plays are going to be very important, and Selborne Boom and Albert Vandenberg, not the most experienced lock pairing ever to play for the Springboks. That's the line-outs there are going to be very important. If New Zealand can't establish clear superiority in the set plays, I think it's going to be a much closer game than many people expect.
Stuart, if we look at the All Blacks themselves, they can afford to leave out the likes of Scott Robinson, Vindiri. There's a place on the bench for Lomu. It's worrying their strength and depth, isn't it?
New Zealand rugby will always have strength in depth. It's the rugby country in the world, but I think South Africa's big problem isn't the guys on the pitch, on the bench, it's the ones on the pitch. If South Africa don't stop them getting ball, with players like Christian Cullen and Jeff Wilson, in the end, they're going to start scoring the tries that have eluded them so far. South Africa must take them up front today.
What about Iremai and Gibson in the centres? They're a formidable pairing, but they've perhaps lacked a little bit of penetration this year.
Well, Bob's already made the point, hasn't he? They're very strong runners, but it's easy because they're coming off Mertens going forward at the moment, and that's why South Africa have got to put Marshall and Mertens on the back foot, because with Gibson's not going forward and Iremai's not going forward, then it's possible that Snyman and Franco Smith might get the upper hand, and if they don't cross the game line and Cromfield doesn't get into the match, then that could change the tempo of the game and change the way New Zealand will play this match.
Well, the hack is just about to get underway over in Pretoria, so I think we can just cross over there right now.
Cooled down considerably since then as the New Zealand team come towards halfway to do the haka, and getting set to lead them, Captain Taine Randall. And we notice for the first time the Springboks are having all 22 players out to face the haka. Joos van der Westhuizen says the South Africans are not going to be outnumbered at any point of this game. So there are the two leaders, Taine Randall and Joos van der Westhuizen. One playing his 24th Test match, his 12th as captain. Joos van der Westhuizen here playing his 51st Test, but his first as captain. But South Africa have had great players in the past from the halfback position, captaining their country against the All Blacks. We think in particular of Davy de Villiers and Neely Smith back in the 60s. But New Zealand in the first half to have at the kickoff. Referee is Ed Morrison, who's controlled New Zealand and South Africa twice, and South Africa both times have been the winners, including the World Cup final in Johannesburg in 1995. And referee Morrison of England signals And Tri-Nations Rugby 1996 begins with a kick out to the left to Tana Umanga's wing, and not a bad start to keep the South Africans on the back foot. Here's former All Black Wayne Graham.
Yes, Keith, the Springboks really do face the acid test here in front of their home crowd. They've got to perform better than they've done in the previous two Tri-Series matches this season, and the All Blacks are rearing to go. We've seen the tactics already. Both teams looking for inventive game plans.
Selborne Boone to a short line out straight away. So that is different. Now there's Joost van der Westhuizen. We look at him straight away and see the big knee bandage he's got on that right knee. For goodness sake, look at that. It's almost a black leg he's got on the right. Look at it covering that knee injury, which has kept him out almost all of the season. A deep kick has Jeff Wilson chugging back, and it's a good one. Kafi Dutoy is the first 5'8", Jeff Wilson the fullback, and it was a deep kick. So look at the kick here from Dutoy, a very composed player, gets a deep run on the ball too, and Wilson could only watch it cross the touchline.
Yes, great start from the Springboks, going straight onto attack.
So here's Anton Oliver.
Van der Westhuizen right at the front of the line. Ruben Kruger off the back of the line out.
There's the throw, and it's won by Selborne Boom off the New Zealand throw. So that's a shock. Nakadrotsky has it. They're only 5 metres out. Van der Westhuizen gets the ball. A loose one taken by Osdurant. Peter Rousseau. 10 metres out. Van der Westhuizen with it again, the captain. There's an offside there by Josh Kronfeld. Referee Morrison's picked it up. Here's the advantage being played. Out to the Springbok backs. There's Ruben Kruger for the first time. Crunching in. The referee will surely ping New Zealand for that. We wait. And he's done it over there rather than back at the offside. So it's a throw over first penalty for the Springboks after just 2 minutes of play.
Absolutely brilliant start from the Springboks.
What did you think here, Wayne? Did you think he was just holding back on the knee there?
He had a decent charge for the corner, but I think the defence was there. He kept the ball in play.
I didn't think he was as aggressive as he could have been.
Well, he hasn't played a lot of rugby in recent times, Ewist, so here in front of his home crowd, always very, very dangerous up that left-hand touchline. Perhaps a little tentative, but the All Black defence was sound. Early points look like they'll go with the Springboks.
Kafi Dutoy. And through it goes. The Springboks get the early reward, and they lead by 3-0. The penalty by Kafi Dutoy.
And that will give the Springbok camp some confidence. The early points on the board. Dutoy, who looks so ordinary at Carisbrook, that's a great start for him.
Well, they need him to play well. It goes into number 8, Rassie Erasmus, who's new to that position. He's the positional change, and Van der Westhuizen swings it back to Kafi Dutoy, and he may well benefit from the composed, experienced Van der Westhuizen, because remember at Dunedin he played with his great friend but the very nervous Dave van Hooslen, and they really messed it up as the Springboks tumbled to a 28-0 defeat.
Tactically, the Springboks are looking to play the game inside the All Blacks half. Maxwell having real trouble. Erasmus all over him.
So here it goes to the New Zealand backs. The high one from Mertens. Montgomery waiting. Gets away from a head high. And another penalty. And that's against... Montgomery's going to go down and make the most of this. Let's have a look at the head high again. It's Andrew Blowers. No, it wasn't malicious. Oh, here it is. Perhaps here.
Well, hardly touched him, Blowers.
Well, that's right.
Just glanced off him. Montgomery looking to counter-attack. A few tacklers go in.
Yeah, now the referee is explaining to the South African players who might be trying to make the most of this that the injury came as a result of the second tackle. Well, there's Bobby Skinstad, who they hope to get back into the Springboks very soon with injuries. Brayton Paulson also here. They stood down for this game. Rather controversial decision. Back goes Percy Montgomery. Kapi du Toit to kick for touch. Cullen for the first time. Mertens. Montgomery waiting. He hasn't played at all well this year. They're looking for a big one from him. And he's had a bit of good fortune there. That was not a good kick. He seemed to not be 100% right yet. He's had a finger in the eye, perhaps, or a bang on the forehead. But he's just bounced that one to touch.
Yes, the Springboks want to play the game deep in the All Black half. There's no other tactic to start with but to kick it back into the corners. Of course, here at altitude, the kicks get so much more distance.
That was a good take there by Robin Brooke.
Pull it down, go! They're doing the... When I say go, you can go, okay? I was go! Let's keep it up, guys.
So South African rugby has been battered, bruised and nearly broken by their recent results. And here they are in action, trying to get it all together again with the World Cup less than 2 months away. Marshall's hammered hard. It's loose at halfway. Yaramia picks it up. He's caught by second 5'8", Franco Smith. And great excitement in the crowd. Really, Wayne, the All Blacks have to withstand this first 20 minutes. Everyone is saying that the Springboks aren't very fit. And the New Zealand team feel as though they have that advantage.
Well, it's definitely an energised start from the Springboks. Really taking the game to the All Blacks at this stage. Ewist controlling it well.
Dion Kaiser on the right wing. Advantage to New Zealand. Kronfelder's there. So is Blowers, number 6. Justin Marshall. Mertens bangs one across the field. The chaser is Gibson. Now Peter Rousseau's going to meet the 3 in the defence, and Cullen has him and throws him over the touchline near halfway.
The back 3 for the Springboks are working well. Rousseau that time hanging back. Montgomery, they're fielding the kicks of Mertens. Mertens not getting enough time to angle it. Rousseau always dangerous on the counter. Well taken by Cullen.
So New Zealand trying to withstand the early fury of the South African team. Backs to the wall, and that has not worked well either. So that's 2 lineouts where it hasn't gone well for New Zealand in the early stages.
Well, position is so crucial too, Keith, and the throw-in is not straight. Makes it difficult. It goes to Randall, but there you can see on the angle.
So let's look at the struggle in the front row.
Well, Morrison has come to
Feek
stamp his mark on it. Fires in the penalties early in the match.
So another big push by Kapi du Toit. And the Cats and Griquoise. His 4th starting test this year. He was dropped for the game against Australia after the disaster at Dunedin. Marko Drotsky with the goal line in the background. He's going to throw number 2. They all peel off towards the back. And there's Selborne Boone, number 5. The other lock is Albert van der Berg with the black headgear. Van der Westhuizen. Franco Smith. There is Ruben Kruger. You notice that already some of the bandage is gone from Van der Westhuizen's knee. Montgomery, Kaiser. Play on. No, the whistle's gone.
Knock on! Black ball! Well, the defence of the All Blacks sound, and it has to be. A little bit of concern in the All Black camp. They can't get their hands on the ball. Springboks doing all the attacking. Plenty of moves out wide. Kruger a key man, of course, at setting it. Quick ball, quick turnover ball. Montgomery's taken well on the tackle.
Marshall. Mertens. That's a high one again. And finds the line. Andrew Mertens didn't play here in the great victory in '96. He was injured for that game. Carlos Spencer played in that one when they won, remember, 32 to 25. More Maxwell at Feek. Robin Brook. Robin Brook doing the lifting on Feek. Claimed in there by Case Muse.
Oh, the All Blacks really having trouble at line-out time. South Africans are attacking them with their jumpers. Thunderberg in there, new lock for the Springboks. Boom, both contesting on the All Blacks throw.
Erasmus to Andre Fenter, to Franco Smith, one of the local players, one of the 4 local players brought in. Maxwell feeds Marshall. There's Randall trying to get something going. The 2 captains in conflict there, and down they both go. Here is Umanga. He's got through. A bit of space here. Oh, a lovely run. Here is Marshall at the 22. He's got to give it to Cullen. Cullen is caught by Montgomery. 5 metres short. Look at Norm Maxwell, well ripped by Montgomery. And there is a loose one. Picked up by Brook. Back to Cullen again. Here is New Zealand putting pressure on. Marshall again. Were they offside? Mertens, a big pass wide out to Kronfeld. Now, can Daryl Gibson get there? South Africa's defence has got across. That's a great save. Offside! But there was an offside, which was pretty obvious back there. But the referee played a good advantage.
Well, the opportunity was to score in the right-hand corner. Moment's hesitation and the chance was lost, and then the All Blacks tried to move it back to the left, but everything was going across the field. Couldn't quite straighten it, but they come back for the penalty. The opportunity was here. Cullen had it. He couldn't quite unload it to Wilson on the outside. The chance was lost. Great defence from Montgomery. He holds up the ball in the tackle. Not keen to let it go, but gives Mertens a chance to add 3 for the All Blacks.
Well, here's Andrew Mertens. You remember his 9 penalties and 1 conversion at Eden Park, but he's averaging 7 successful goals in tests this year. And that means he's averaging 20 points in tests of this year. And he's getting a bit of the old Loftus raspberry. And it's on its way. And it's there for New Zealand to equalise. Andrew Mertens. And after 30 minutes, it's 3-all.
That'll bring some confidence to the All Blacks. Unlucky not to score.
Well claimed by Robin Brook. It's little things like that that weren't exactly 100% against Australia at the kick-off, so that was a good one. And that's a good control play up to where Dion Kaiser has it. And he gets around Umanga and bangs it high to Wilson just outside the 22. Wilson to Marshall to Mertens, who stabs a great kick. Remember, this is what, very high, 6,000 feet above sea level. You can really belt the ball here, huge distances. A bad one from Rousseau is sky to Norm Maxwell in midfield. Sorry, this is Robin Brook, number 5. He's having a good start in the game. There it is for Marshall. And that's against Joost van der Westhuizen.
First place, 6. Get away. Number 6 is the first.
Well, the Springboks once again key to slow it down. Joost, but I think the penalty went against Ruben Kruger. But Van der Westhuizen keen to stop it coming out. Robin Brook, fantastic take midfield from a stray kick.
There's number 6 there.
There's 2 or 3 of them having a go at it. Keen to stop that All Black machine from attacking.
Well, he's approaching 500 points in tests. Here's Andrew Mertens. Grant Fox up there at 611. And with his first kick Mertz has gone to 490. That's another excellent kick. 2 penalties in 2 minutes puts New Zealand into the lead by 6-3. And not so much waving and cheering there. A lot of stoic looks on the faces there of the crowd. Perhaps already, Wayne, they fear the worst. Who knows?
Well, the All Blacks have withstood the early pressure, haven't they? Mertens back with 2 very accurate kicks. He knew he would be under pressure at this ground. Coming back to Loftus, but 2 very, very good place kicks from Andrew Mertens.
And Van der Westhuizen gives it to Montgomery, who's put one in the air. That's not a good one. Halfway line. It's gone up into the night sky and has come down a big South African ground bounce. Here is Franco Smith, who was dropped after the defeat against Wales, and it hasn't appeared before this season.
Please, falling straight in.
Bit of steel to the Springbok pack, Ruben Kruger.
Wait till I say.
Well, it's a good loose forward combination. There's been much talk of Teichmann, the demise of Teichmann. Probably unfair.
Mertens decides to go the other way, getting into a bit of strife, but getting out of it brilliantly. Andrew Mertens, now he shoves it ahead for Tana Umanga. They all overrun it, but it's Iramia manages to grab it, lobbing it back into field, but it's gone forward. As Kronfeld was up there, well, Mertens, he was an awful strife inside his 22, but he extracted himself brilliantly.
What he did extract was a choice of word, actually, but have a look at the acceleration of Mertens here. He was in trouble, slipped the tackle, oh so crucial, and then he opened it up. And it was beautifully read, you know. He had time, composure to place the ball ahead. It bounced beat Umanga, and Uramia took it on, and it was great to see the support play of the open side flank of Kronfeld.
Number 1, hand on the floor.
Oh, for heaven's sake, Ed,
Hand out.
let the game go, pal. He's got Greg Feek for putting his hand on the ground. Can you believe it? There's a kick down towards the corner flag. Again, missing out. And Jeff Wilson has driven them back. Van der Westhuizen takes it quickly to Smith, across to Montgomery. Now he's going to kick with prodigious distance, but he's outside the 22, so he's overcooked it. And back they go. Fundamental mistake made by Percy Montgomery.
Great positional play by Joos van der Westhuizen. That's twice he's done that. Fielded the ball deep and the quick throw-in. He wants to keep it alive. You get a feeling something's going to happen wherever Joos is.
Maxwell cleaning off the top for the All Blacks. Marshall for Mertens. Iramia. held up in centre field, but the All Black loose forwards get there quickly. Andrew Blowers was smartly there. Now Mertens up for Wilson, onto Brook. Cullen, he's got support there from Tane Randall. Not making a lot of progress at the moment, the All Blacks. As they take it to the setup.
Too many bodies. Blue up, black ball. Going forward. It's a pile up.
Too many bodies. Ed Morrison choosing to blow the whistle very quickly, not allowing the opportunity perhaps for the ball to come back. He's done that 2 or 3 times so far in this game. I appreciate it's early in the game, 21 minutes gone. However, it's probably time his nerves settled down and he allowed the game to move a little more.
Well, it took the All Blacks a fair while in Dunedin, didn't it, Murray, to get some authority and to get that first try. 6-3, and the Springboks have been very competitive in the first quarter of this game.
Oh, we've got a great match on our hands, we can see that. South Africa was always going to start well. It's always been a matter of whether they can continue it, can keep that pace and that intensity, because it's a big field, a rugby field, as the game grows old at high altitude. The air is thin, the lungs are really grasping for air.
Here's the All Blacks again. Fed up to Gibson, made it into the half gap. Randall was right at his shoulder, so also was Kronfeld in centre field. Change of direction, off to Case Muse. The two props are there. Now Greg Feek, driven down in a powerful tackle by Oz Durant. As the All Blacks keep it going, Wilson looking to get on the outside, pushes Rousseau out. And the Blowers is taken across the touchline. Good aggressive fend by Jeff Wilson. Was paid to Peter Rousseau.
And it was good support by Blowers, but the defence by South Africa was fantastic.
Now problems in midfield as we look at the replay, but Daryl Gibson has gone down. And Wilson, no beg your pardons, but in the end Andrew Blowers with Springboks all around him. Let's hope that it's not the occurrence of the knee problem that Daryl Gibson had in the Springbok test in Dunedin.
Well, that's exactly what I was thinking at the time. As soon as I saw him stand up, he's such a crucial midfield player that's basically been discovered in that position by New Zealand this year.
Drotsky, nicely dragged down by Van der Berg. He seems to be the target man, if you like. Van der Westhuizen straight to Cullen. He'll bring it back hard. Spinning out of a couple. Good support from Randall as the All Blacks take it up towards the 22. Now it's carried on by Feek. Lost. Van der Westhuizen got under a high one from Randall. And the All Blacks may well have turned it over here. No, the Springboks still in control. Dutoy to Smith. Big charge in midfield, but Uramia slamming into Rassie Erasmus.
Walk away! On the floor!
And yet another penalty.
Slowed it up!
This time against Robin Brook.
Go, get back 10, please. 10!
Yes, well, that was the accusation of Nick Mallett, of course, was that New Zealand are masters at slowing up the ball in the tackle situation. Ed Morrison went public, of course, and said that South Africa should look at their own house first.
Another kick, a missing touch from the Springboks. And they'll get the throw in all right, but it's right back where the penalty was. So there'll be some annoyance, I'm sure, from Nick Mallett that some of these kicks, these penalty kicks, are not going into touch. Belted back by Van der Berg. Van der Westhuizen's given it away to Tane Randall. All Blacks have a chance. Might have lost the ball forward, though, as he went to roll it.
Went forward! 3 ball!
Well, goodness gracious, Tane Randall was on his own. The All Blacks were on the back foot, really, and were struggling to get to him. Just have a look.
But it was Anton Oliver that created it. Desperate Van der Westhuizen to clear it, and Randall, the anticipation that he has. Very disappointed, Randall, that he didn't get that ball clear. I was watching him after the play. Very disappointed. That was another try-scoring opportunity. And we look back and we see one of the New Zealand locks down, apparently injured.
Just out of shot at the moment, Robin Brook, but he's coming back. He'll appear in a moment to the left. There he is. So far, so good in the injury front.
Wait till I say, wait again.
Osteront on this side.
Back ball. Let's have some more space.
Well, this is an area where South Africa will be looking to attack New Zealand.
That's smart. Go back, Walker.
With Greg Fick playing his first full test match, first starting match. And South Africa backing their front row power.
Looks like a good solid All Black scrum though. Van der Westhuizen back to Du Toit, had to hurry it. He's hooked it in field. Now Mertens might even consider a drop kick, but he gives it in the end away to Jeff Wilson. He'll do the drop kicking, and it looks pretty good. And it is good. Jeff Wilson drop kicks the goal, and the All Blacks out to 9-3.
The maestro, Jeff Wilson, a beautifully calculated kick. Concentrated, kept his head down, and did the business.
Remember the Zinzanbrook drop goal here in 1996. Jeff Wilson, who scored 2 tries that day, comes up with a drop goal, and the All Blacks out to 9-3. 15 minutes till half time. Box coming through powerfully on the 22, and they put themselves in a good attacking position.
Interesting call by Ed Morrison, knocked forward, South Africa ball. Well, I would expect South Africa also to have a crack at New Zealand on the short side, so this is an opportunity. Let's see if they do that. In fact, it's the open side.
Andre Fenter well taken down by Justin Marshall. The All Blacks defence holding up well. Du Toit, oh, he wanted a drop kick. It was a second thought. Now Andre Snyman, chased by Mertens. Snyman with his power, and he makes it. First try of the game, scored by a local hero, Andre Snyman. And he's injured in the process.
Re-enter Snyman. Magnificent. In the replay, watch as he opened it up. A fortuitous situation where the ball bounced loose. Sat into his hand from the charge down. He couldn't believe it, but look at him open it up. He backed himself for the corner. Christian Cullen almost holding him back. Mertens unable to stop the momentum that Snyman had, the drive, the power. Well, one of those opportunities that comes really in a test match.
Well, that might be the last we see of Andre Snyman. This looks like a serious injury. This is a man who has been plagued with injury. And attention goes back to Huffy Du Toit as Snyman is being attended to. Just swinging away. So the All Blacks retain the lead. And Snyman is seriously injured by the looks of things. But you'd have to say, Murray, it was rather fortuitous. It was well taken. But the All Blacks, in charging the ball down, came out of alignment. They didn't quite know where it had gone. And Snyman with all that pace.
Yes, well, Snyman knew where it was. There's no doubt about that. But I like the way he actually targeted the corner. He realised he had no support. He was clear. He was open. But he'll be a great loss to South Africa if he does go off the field.
So from the kickoff, ball is lost forward firstly by the Springboks. Now the replacement player on is Robbie Fleck in midfield, and this is a serious injury to the right leg and possibly the right knee of Andre Snyman. A terrific player. The try that he scored against England at Twickenham goes down as one of the great tries. Now the All Blacks with Cullen bursting through. He stabs it for the corner, and Umaga leading the charge, just can't quite make it. Clever kick by Christian Cullen, and the All Blacks looking to hit back immediately.
Clever kick, but I wonder if the I mean, of course, if the kick had been perfectly weighted, it would have been a try, but I wonder whether he should have in fact kicked. He was through the hole, broke the tackle. Yes, well, of course, he'd lost his speed, so that's why he made that choice.
So Naka Drotsky to a shortened line-out. Albert van der Berg, number 5, has been doing a good job. And the All Blacks had one too many in the line.
Too late, do it quicker.
Well, look, that looks... The legs being taped together, so a breakage. And that is sad because Andre Snyman would have been a key man at the World Cup, but it looks like his World Cup dreams have been shattered in scoring a try.
Yes, that would be a tragedy for Snyman. He's a great player. I rate Snyman.
Van der Berg wins another one, and the whistle, well, in actual fact, That was the replay with the All Blacks
Open up, Blacks.
having one too many in the line.
Open.
Well, Maxwell, 5th Test match today, using Robin Brookdale on this occasion. And again, just attempting to engage the Springbok pack as Mertens. Pressure again on Montgomery, right near the 22. He hasn't got this one. Must have lost it forward, surely. Well, he's penalised Andre Fenter.
Play the ball in front of your own man.
The ball came down. It was knocked on by Montgomery, and Fenter picked it up. And so this will be a gift for Andrew Mertens.
Well, it was knocked, yes, it bounced. In fact, it came off Ramirez's leg, so in fact, Fenter was onside. But Morrison missed it.
Yeah, did right. Andrew Mertens to complete his 3rd penalty. What did he get? 10 out of 10 in Auckland. 3 out of 3 so far today. He's on a bit of a roll, Andrew Mertens. 12 points to 8 as the applause rings out now for Andre Snyman. Sad sight as he leaves. Game carries on. The shortened kickoff, though, made by the South Africans. Taken down by Maxwell. Now Marshall. Mertens has done a lot of kicking so far, and that's a huge punt. That really is a big one. Montgomery brings it under control. Hasn't got a great deal of angle to work with, but he's done a great job. Wilson, though, will keep it going. Fires it off to Mertens. He'll find the wide open spaces here. Kaiser has got back. And, well, he didn't quite know what to do. He gives it off to Robbie Fleck. The 10 out from the 22, turned over. The All Blacks have it. Oliver. Now it's Brook, taken by Erasmus. Good head-on tackle by Rusty Erasmus. Stays on the All Black side of the ruck as Wilson delivers off to Mertens. So far it's been a conservative approach by the All Blacks. A lot of kicking from Mertens. And in the finish it's Kaiser into touch.
Well, it's good tactical display by New Zealand, really. Mertens calling the tune, choosing to play the game in the Springbok territory. As we see Gibson coming from the field, so the bang he got earlier in the game, he's holding his back, I see, Grant.
Yes, with Jonah Lomu coming on, this will be a reshuffle. Cullen's gone to centre. Lomu goes across to the left wing, Umaga to the right. So an early start today for Jonah. Off it goes to Mertens. Marshall doubling round, fires it out to Cullen, gliding into the gap. Cullen is through, and this is a brilliant try for Christian Cullen. All Blacks register their first one today. The Hurricane salute as Christian Cullen comes up with his 29th try in Test rugby.
And doesn't Christian Cullen glide when he sees a gap? Beautifully passed, put in the hole. And he had the wheels on Fleck, no doubt. A small fend and then the glide. But the pass by Marshall was abused. Absolutely superb, and Cullen did the rest.
Haven't moved the ball much so far in the game, but on this occasion they do. A well-rehearsed and worked move. And Christian Cullen, well, I guess you could say he scored that try playing at centre.
Well, it's a very interesting situation we have now, with Christian Cullen moving into centre.
Looks like a back problem, as you say, Murray, for Daryl Gibson. Andrew Mertens can continue the wonderful sequence of goal kicking. Not this time. So 17 points to 8. And just have a look at this. Marshall's involved a couple of times, the double round. And as you say, a beautifully weighted pass. And Cullen just had too much for Robbie Fleck. Had to go low. And he missed them altogether. Brooke can't control this. Knocked forward by Van der Berg, who's been prominent for the Springboks, as Mertens again unleashes the big kick, and the referee was playing an advantage. And they'll go all the way back for the scrum.
New Zealand not controlling the kickoffs. The Springbok are kicking the ball high and deep. And New Zealand is opting for locks running backwards, taking the ball, which is probably not the right thing to do, really. Players coming forward should be taking the kickoff.
Greg Feek doing a terrific job on the loose head side, holding up the side of the scrum. Here's Lomu bearing down on Kaiser. Boy, I bet he could hear him coming. He got him away from him. But in the process, he was flattened by Kronfeld. The All Blacks putting real pressure on here.
Too many bodies, green ball, go forward.
And the Springboks were moving forward.
Well, where they just?
The giant footsteps of Jonah Lomu and Dion Kaiser, who's about half the size, must have thought, what have I got myself into here?
Well, he was concentrating on the ball, though, and he did very well, Kaiser, to step out of it.
Van der Westhuizen pushing down. Again, it's Mertens. Oops, Lomu's got his hand in the rope. Well taken down. Now it's Marshall. Real misunderstanding there between the two All Blacks. It was Mertens and Lomu. It was really Mertens' ball, but Jonah got his hand in the rope.
And he had Morrison blowing the whistle extremely quickly then.
Okay.
Yes, well, that was a mistake by Lomu, because obviously the player coming forward should have the ball. Lomu being tackled. And have a look at this. Marshall going in to set up the ball, and almost immediately Morrison blowing the whistle, which in effect created a turnover.
Here's Franco Smith for the Springboks. Van der Westhuizen away for Erasmus. Narkodrotsky, the hooker, not making any progress. The All Blacks defending solidly. Now Van der Westhuizen for Du Toit, back into Fleck, caught on the advantage line, and they are forced to kick again. Van der Westhuizen not nudging it ahead, and he gets a raucous round of applause, but really he's given the ball back to the All Blacks.
Well, he has, but he was under pressure behind the advantage line, and he had the vision and, of course, the time. Great players create time. He had the time. The judge
fractured dislocation of his ankle. He'll be out for 6 months. That's his World Cup going. Lower back spasm for Daryl Gibson.
Puts the pressure on Van der Berg, I guess, to compete. He seems to be the main man on opposition throws. Very tall man. Very athletic, of course.
Well secured at the front again by Brooke, using him a lot so far in the game. Wilson's going to kick, awkward pass, but he did it well.
So that's exactly what Ewist wanted, by putting the ball into touch, putting pressure on New Zealand. New Zealand clearing, and now South Africa ball to the line.
'47th test tonight for Jeff Wilson. The light's starting to take effect. Still not dark. Open time, going up towards 6 o'clock in the evening. Andre Fenter trying to hand it off, and there was offside play by the All Blacks. The pass was intended for Osti Rott, but he ran into an All Black player. Just have a look at this. It was a rehearsed move by the Springboks, and it was Robin Brooke with the early tackle.
Yes, and justified too. He was forward. The ball was taken, which put Brooke offside, taking two hands in the line, put Brooke offside as he went through.
56 test tonight for Robin Brooke, taking over from the likes of Colin Meads, who played 55, Michael Jones, Frank Bunce. So he's right up there now. Here's Robin Brooke, 56 test matches since 1992. And when you consider Colin Meads' career, went from 1957 to 1971, an indication of how many test matches are played these days. Afi Du Toit. Put it off the top of the posts, and they agreed it was over.
Yes, enough. Well, it's an intriguing development for New Zealand. Gibson off the field, giving Cullen an opportunity at centre, but most importantly, probably for a lot of people, Lomu his opportunity of 45, 48 minutes of rugby. So much talk about Lomu being on the sideline.
Mertens goes long for Rousseau. Now they're going to run it out, the Springboks. First man there to make the tackle was Tana Umaga.
Too many bodies, green ball, go forward.
Well, that was a change of policy. So the Springboks decided to keep the ball in hand. And, well, it's been pretty even all round, really. 17-11 on the scoreboard, though, for the All Blacks, 3 minutes out from half-time.
Wait, now engage. Stay back, please.
Off goes Erasmus.
Let it come.
Eremia got in there to help make the tackle. Van der Westhuizen for Du Toit. And again, excellent distance. You almost feel the crowd here shows some relief when the Springboks get the ball back towards halfway.
Well, they do indeed, but New Zealand's so dangerous with the ball in hand.
Go on.
Quickly taken. Brook fires it into centre field. Excellent hands by Mertens. Now Umaga on the 10-metre line in All Black territory.
Let it come, referee Green. Let it come.
Coming forward, Justin Marshall. Mertens positioning himself, chased across by Erasmus. Now it's a Cullen. He'll get out of a few tackles, gets up and goes again. 5 metres out from halfway, Christian Cullen. The All Blacks have recycled again. Here's Kronfeld back into the middle of them. Woko gets driven back in a big way, but the All Blacks are happy to hang on to it. So now Mertens. Wilson into the gap. There's support inside. Marshall, a body check from Fleck, who made no attempt to tackle.
Get away, Green, get away.
15 out from the 22 now, and the All Blacks get something rolling. They keep on the blind side. Wilson to Mertens. Good tackle by Franco Smith it was, but the referee was playing advantage. He's gone a long way back towards the 10-metre line, has Ed Morrison.
Slow retreat, Greens. 2 players slow retreating. This side.
Well, it's fairly pedantic stuff by Morrison. 2 players slowly retreating was the call. I fancy him letting the game go. There was a situation where New Zealand probably would have won the ball from this. What a brilliant break this was from Wilson. That was a move earlier on. Of course, the body check not satisfactory these days. Need the arm to tie up the player. Marshall going through. I guess Morrison must have decided that the ball wasn't coming back from this movement. The ball is a long way over, but New Zealand clearly driving over the top. In fact, there is the ball, so he had no reason to bring it back. Well, right on half-time, New Zealand would be looking very keen to get 3 points here and take them to 20-11.
Well, they certainly are going to get the 3 points. Another magnificent kick by Andrew Mertens as the hooter sounds. And that completes the first half. It's a Loftus-Versfeld penalty in the 40th minute by Andrew Mertens. And the All Blacks will go to the break. It's a try apiece for South Africa by Andre Snyman, who sadly is off the field.
Well, a fascinating first half. The first try falling to Andre Snyman. His pace and power taking him to the line. Christian Cullen, though, replied in style, scything through the Springbok midfield. Fleck nowhere near him. Pace to burn. 20 points to 11, the All Blacks lead. At half-time, after the break, we'll get the thoughts of Bob Dwyer and Stuart Barnes. Another live Super League game coming up for you on Sunday night on Sky Sports 1. Bradford taking on Gateshead. That's live Super League Sunday night, 6:30, Sky Sports 1. But now we're watching South Africa against New Zealand from Pretoria, where the half-time score is 20 points to 11 to the New Zealanders. Well, with me in the studio are Bob Dwyer and Stuart Barnes. And Bob got off to a scrappy start, but a great try by Christian Cullen at the end there.
Yeah, it's the first constructive thing that I've seen New Zealand do this year, but once again, I was worried about South Africa's defence on that occasion.
You can have a look at the try here.
I mean, just have a look at Percy Montgomery here. It's a great try, decoy runner in the middle, and an outside break by Cullen. But look at Montgomery over here on the wing. I'd expect my fullback to make that tackle.
But again, it's a wonderful illustration, isn't it, of Cullen's attacking virtues, his pace and the power. He fends off Fleck, and this stride now, Bob, that's sensational.
Well, he's a powerful runner. He's the most powerful runner in world rugby. It's why he scored so many tries in the relatively small number of tests that he's played. and he's well on the way to breaking David Campese's record in another 10 years.
And that's a guy moving to outside centre. But that sums up South Africa's game in many ways, because Fleck had only come on 5 minutes earlier for Andre Snyman, who was having a good match. Key man, Fleck's off. He's, you know, Snyman scored the try, Fleck's on, it's all going wrong. But this, we spoke before about Snyman's acceleration and power. Great example, Bob.
Fantastic, and Fleck just didn't have Snyman's pace to pick up Cullen in defence, as you said. It's a huge blow for them. They lose his power and pace in attack, and they lose his pace in defence.
On the downside, though, I mean, a pretty horrific injury looking at the end there.
But it looks sort of like an ankle, doesn't it? And, you know, the way South Africa are playing at the moment, they need their match winners. We said before the game, Snyman's one of them, and it's a bad blow for them. And, you know, that's a superbly taken try. They had a bit of luck, but they really haven't had the breaks going for them at the moment. And the way they're playing, they need a lot of luck going for them, because their basics are not good at the moment, Bob.
Well, you say that the basics there, and we've seen a real scrappy match apart from those 2 tries. But in particular, the South African kicking, it looks to have been all over the shop.
I think the whole game looks to be all over the shop. Certainly the kicking game. One good kick by Joost van der Westhuizen, I think tellingly behind Jonah Lomu as soon as Jonah came on. But they haven't done anything at all, South Africa. They haven't done anything to give their team an advantage. There doesn't seem to be any tactical awareness of how they're going to beat, or how they're even going to get past the first line of New Zealand defence. And if you don't go on the pitch with some idea of how you're going to get through the first line of defence, then I figure you're never going to get through the second and third lines. Bit of a lucky try, but well taken, and nevertheless by Snyman. But they need that individual athleticism, because they don't seem to have any collective ability.
Well, a fascinating first half. After the break, we'll have the second half live from Pretoria. Of the score here at half-time from Pretoria. New Zealand on top at the moment, 20 points to 11. They lead the Springboks. Well, Stuart, what does South Africa have to do to turn this one around? They're still in touch, of course.
They're playing like a team on a losing roll at the moment. Their confidence isn't right. Their basics have to be better. We touched before the break on their kicking. It's been poor. They've got to get their kicking game right. They've got to retain ball when they hold it, and they've got to make their first up tackles. Now, apart from that, their match winner now with Snyman off has to be Van der Westhuizen. They've got to work out ways to get him into the game. At the moment, Bob, we're not really seeing Van der Westhuizen attacking the channels he should be going.
In fact, they're using, on a couple of occasions, particularly from their scrum, they're using Van der Westhuizen as an obstruction, if you like, instead of having him behind the ball, where he can be a runner, or at least a decoy runner. And I agree with Stuart. I'd have him in the play all the time, either as a runner or as a potential runner and running as a decoy, because you just cannot afford to leave the guy. That's their only chance of breaching the defence. They could use Fleck at inside centre, but to do that, they'd have to move Smith to outside centre, and he lacks the pace. Because when Fleck came on as a replacement earlier in the series, he did inject some pace into the play at inside centre, but they're stuck for options there, so I think I agree. It's Van der Westhuizen or the forwards.
Other thing that's going to be really interesting in the second half, we talked about the New Zealand centres being very powerful but lacking pace. If Cullen stays outside centre, well, we could see the New Zealand backs really doing something.
Well, the second half about to get underway, so let's cross over to Pretoria and our commentators Murray Mexted and Grant Nisbet.
Second half underway at Loftus Versfeld. The kick-off made by Hafu du Toit. 20 points to 11, and Jonah's going to have an early run for the All Blacks. Takes it almost up to the 22. Mertens handing it off, not kicking the first time, but certainly kicking the second time. Not reaching touch either. Down to Peter Rousseau. Gets away from Umaga. Dragged down though by Cullen. Now playing at centre, of course, is Christian Cullen. There it is for Montgomery. Darting run here, made by Franco Smith as the Springboks take it into centre field. Andre Venter up to Fasaki, taken down by Nakadrotsky. Now Van der Westhuizen back inside for Selborne Boom. Good start to the second half here by the Springboks, and they got to get the scrum put in too. All Blacks missing a couple of tackles.
Go Fleck, go please.
Outstanding start by South Africa in the second half, reminiscent of the first, in fact.
Well, the starting run, in fact, was Robbie Fleck.
Yes, and it set them up for a great opportunity here.
Come up!
Du Toit, of course, will have a plethora of opportunities, of options, should I say.
Get it right, please. Wait.
Really wonderful. It's a huge blindside. You see, it's about 25-metre blindside, and the backs are lined out very deep.
Erasmus wants to pick it up. Off to Fenter. Dragged down by Kronfeld. Right under the goalpost. Now Van der Westhuizen to Montgomery. All Black defence holding extremely well. Now here's Fleck in the number 17 jersey. He's the replacement for Andre Sneeman. It's there again for Just. Trying to take it up the middle. And now Van der Westhuizen. Erasmus standing wide. Gets through a few. Van der Westhuizen. And the Springboks come up trumps early in the second half. Their greatest ever try scorer in Test rugby, Just Van der Westhuizen.
Well, it'll have to be someone. It's that man, Just do it. They've got written on lampposts around town, and he certainly did it. Erasmus making the little dab and offloading, and the supporting player, and so often it is the try scorer of Van der Westhuizen. Well, that's changed the game. Squared the books almost.
All Blacks happily sitting on a 9-point lead at half-time. And if this goes over, it's just a 2-pointer. Hafi du Toit. Completes the conversion. Phenomenal try-scoring record for this man, Just Van der Westhuizen. It was a big surge by Erasmus. The All Blacks falling off tackles all over the place. And Just Van der Westhuizen, 26th Test try in 51 Test matches. Set up brilliantly by Erasmus.
It was, and it's exactly what they wanted. South Africa doing it all well. So the pressure comes back on New Zealand.
Ruben Kruger off the field, replaced by Andre Vos. So he didn't last long in the second half, Ruben Kruger. This time they don't let Erasmus go. He's a danger man. And this will be South African ball.
Green ball. Couldn't get away. Good effort, 7.
There's Andre Vos. Came on as a replacement in Dunedin. So Ruben Kruger, his big comeback has lasted 42 minutes. And Daryl Gibson, the report on him at half-time, lower back strain, not serious, but replaced.
Pair of them, get up.
Franco Smith got away from a tackle. All Blacks missing a few early in the second half, and also the penalty.
Well, I think we can all hear Ed Morrison and the call from Ed Morrison. Roll away, he's saying. Tane Randall going up to ask him the question. So it'll be interesting to see it on replay. It was a nice little break by Franco Smith. Randall pulling him back. Randall certainly looks to be around where the ball is, although the ball is at the back of the ruck. I can't see why he needed to blow the whistle, actually. The ball was won. The ruck was set up. It's fairly standard rugby, Mr. Morrison. Certainly contributing to the stop-start nature of the game, although it has been a good game the first half. Both teams obviously desire to keep the ball in play and open it up.
So du Toit with this enormous kick, driving the All Blacks right back to their 22. Shortened line out for Nakadrotsky to find Andre Fenter. Keeping the ball in hands. Andre Vos, number 19, inside the 22. The ball's been stolen away. Could be Case Muse, I think, in there. He's managed to do it. Maxwell hits it hard. And it's going to be All Black scrum.
He's on his feet.
Ball stolen from the Springboks.
Yes, effective defence by New Zealand, creating the turnover. South Africa doing the right thing, driving it, trying to keep control of the ball, losing it on this occasion. Yes, it was beautifully smuggled. Was that Greg Feek, I think?
May well have been. Kronfeld is down on one side, and there's a problem for one of the Springboks as well. Well, it's all changed pretty dramatically in those 6 minutes. The All Blacks with a 9-point advantage at half-time and looking pretty sound have conceded that try from US van der Westhuizen. And suddenly, the crowd is a lot more buoyant.
Well, they certainly are. They're yelling and screaming in front of us, and of course, every time the Boks are on attack, the arms are up and waving around.
Marshall's pass to Mertens was low. He's done well, Andrew Mertens. Back as far as Montgomery on his own 10-metre line. And Montgomery's tip. Mertens goes in after it and does well to grab it again. Stolen away. Van der Westhuizen gets it going. Back inside to Voss. Now Van der Westhuizen, what a huge difference he's made tonight. They've lost it forward though.
They're not on.
Just over anxious.
Watch we don't go too far.
And the All Blacks happy to take the scrum.
I don't want you coming up, guys.
Yes, New Zealand needing to maintain a bit of possession. Just making a huge difference, as you say. Grant really is an inspiration to this side.
Game's been played in the second half at one end of the field so far.
Come up. Watch we don't go inside. Arm up over, okay? Pair of you. Wait. Now engage.
Well, South Africa putting some heat on the New Zealand scrum here.
Too early. Go.
Too early though, so Marshall takes it quickly. Up for Uramia. Away for Kronfeld. Now Maxwell. The All Blacks shift it out to Jonah. Now he's got a chance. The big fend piles over the top. And they all get him, 3 or 4 of them. But he certainly made his presence felt, the big fellow.
Well, of course, the crowd love it every time Johnny gets the ball, but they love it more when he gets tackled. But really in a flat-footed situation. Good defence by Flick, I think it was. And Finger, of course, there, and Just lending a hand as well.
Robbie Fleck did pretty well to hang on until the rest of the troops arrived. Van der Westhuizen to De Toy. They're also looking at a different player with Van der Westhuizen inside him. Big Osteront, 10-metre line All Black territory. Up to Drotsky, but it's been stolen away by Muse. And Robin Brook puts his left boot into it. Now the All Blacks charging up. Montgomery's after it. Nasty bounce. Wilson. Oh, the heavens above. That's got to be almost a penalty try. What's he going to do? He's going to give a penalty.
No, I don't think it was a penalty try. I think it was covered by South Africa, but it was a very dangerous opportunity for New Zealand.
Stand behind the line, please.
Where's the yellow card?
Player coming across.
That was cynical.
And a professional foul for sure, every single way. I think that Jeff Wilson milked it, but I guess he did that so Ed Morrison would notice. But it was stolen away, wasn't it, by Case Muse. And Robin Brooks showing the skills of his brother, Zinzan, beautifully placed kick. And Robin, of course, you went for that bounce. That awesome bounce.
Franco Smith it was. He made the tackle on Wilson. And I think you're right, Murray. Certainly not a penalty try, but certainly a card. Mertens completes another penalty. And the All Blacks get a little bit of breathing space at 23-18.
Once again, New Zealand looking very dangerous once the ball's out on the open away from the tight play.
All Blacks haven't controlled it at kick-off time. Springboks have it. Here's Drotsky straight at Kronfeld.
Obstruction!
And it's obstruction.
Yes, well, I'm not a fan of that sort of decision, actually. I thought that South Africa had the momentum. They weren't really stopping New Zealand making the tackle.
Well, he's happy when he's blowing the whistle at Morrison. And Mertens takes us down to halfway. Well, I really don't see the problem. Kronfeld wasn't impaired. Hacked back by Kronfeld to feet. The pass to Mertens. Eremia gets into a gap, and away goes Alama over halfway. All Blacks leave it nicely for Marshall to hand up to Oliver. All Blacks really haven't had a good sequence in the second half with the ball in hand. Now Mertens kicking for Lomu's wing, but it beats everybody.
So there it is, possession in territory. It's fairly square. South Africa shading just a little, but behind on the scoreboard by 5. So here they are, defensive line-out, choosing a 3-man line-out, one jumper right in the centre, and controlling it beautifully.
Vandenberg again. Van der Westhuizen did an excellent job there as he fed it off to Andre Venter. Now here's Os to Ross. Head on by Alama Eremia. Van der Westhuizen, and it's all spoiled by a wobbly old kick from Montgomery, and he gets the message too. He's from the Cape, so they don't like him much by the sound of things.
No, I don't think they do. Of course, he's got the wrong name up here in the centre, the heartland of Afrikaner. Montgomery doesn't sort of ring true to the Afrikaner, and Percy, the name Percy, of course, doesn't help.
Looks like the Ox is stringing together a pretty useful game.
So New Zealand are thrown to this line-out. I fancy the idea of them perhaps making a drive and getting the Springbok forward pack going backwards a little bit and then spreading the ball wide.
Just the one try so far from the All Blacks today. Somehow they've messed that up. Umaga picks it up beautifully. And Anton Oliver has been penalised. Must have been some sort of instructions. Ollie LaRue getting ready. And it looks like it will be Osteront. Anton Oliver charging across in front of Albert Vandenberg.
Well, it certainly did. It was certainly obstruction. Even watching where he was running.
So Durant is off. Replaced by the man with the big smile on his face, Ollie LaRue. And in the meantime, Hafi du Toit lining up this penalty attempt. Mertens has landed 5 so far. Du Toit's landed a couple, plus a conversion. Distance is good, but the direction is astray. So the All Blacks sitting on 23, which is not a number they'd like to stay on, bearing in mind what happened in Durban last year.
Behind you, please, 10.
Well, New Zealand content to take the 22. There was no pressure on that kick at goal. It could have been counter-attacked from behind the line.
No halfback there yet.
Gotta release it!
And
Gotta release it once, went back
they just held their hands on it for a little bit too long. Van der Westhuizen wasn't there. And the penalty against the Springboks. So Mertens driving them down to 15 metres inside Springbok territory. Making another change here. And it's Mark Andrews replacing Selborne Boom. So the change is coming now from Nick Mallett. Again, Brooke is the line-out taker for the All Blacks.
Not able to create the drive. Good body position, but not really making the momentum forward that they'd like. This is ball going backwards, not good ball for the backs.
Mertens slings it on to Uremia. Again, the powerful charge to the 10-metre line. Blowers there quickly to recycle. Mertens fires wide for Umaga. Again, almost through, finds Cullen. Cullen and Wilson. Wilson looking for some support. Finds it too from Robin Brooke. 5 metres out from the line. The All Blacks with a big chance here if they can get it back quickly. Marshall digs it, and he can't get it. They were going to get a try to the left, I would imagine. They had a big overlap, and the Springboks have killed it.
And Justin Marshall asking the question. They didn't want the penalty there. They wanted the try. So Ed Morrison once again entering the fray.
Well, again, the half break came from Tanarumanga, and that lethal back three. Cullen, Wilson was involved, Brooke was there too, and they almost conjured up a try.
So often threatening to split the Springboks open, but they haven't achieved it quite yet. A couple of little occasions, but the defence holding for South Africa. The numbers back in defence, I think, is commendable.
Six penalty goals for Andrew Mertens as the All Blacks sneak out to an 8-point advantage now, 26 points to 18, coming up towards the halfway point in the second spell.
So once again, New Zealand lining up, all the forwards about 14 metres and the ball going back about 20 metres.
Brooke manages to get it away, having a top game, Robin Brooke. Down as far as Kaiser, the Mertens kick. Takes them on, Kaiser straight through, just dragged down again. Very nearly sailed right through the All Blacks. It was Anton Oliver who had to make the tackle.
Well, the crowd not appreciating, but it was fairly clearly lost forward. Kaiser spotting a hole, a little bit of footwork. So that's where the ball went forward. The scrum just going backwards.
Marshall, a well-placed kick by Justin Marshall, relieving a lot of the pressure. 33rd test for Justin Marshall. Dejan Kaiser has taken over from Brayton Polser on the right wing. So there are the replacements made so far. Andre Snyman was injured. So was Ruben Kruger. And the other two are straight subs. The only change in the All Black side so far. Lomu on for Gibson. Van der Westhuizen, and Erasmus loses it. A rare mistake made by Rassie Erasmus, one of 4 Springbok captains this year, as the All Blacks bring it away. Brooke finds himself in the gap. Kaiser gets put away by Lomu in a big way.
Too many bodies, green ball, stay up.
Well, the ball was coming back. I don't quite know why Ed Morrison blew the whistle.
Well, it was an interesting call, I thought. He said too many bodies. I can't quite understand that. I suspect he meant too many bodies on the ground, although the ball was clear.
Well, we're at the 20-minute mark now. John Hart might be looking at releasing some of the players off the bench. Van der Westhuizen off for Venter. Had a strong game in the number 7 jersey as Andre Venter. Now here's Montgomery, looking to do something to win the crowd back. Did pretty well as Andre Vos made some progress forward. Now Vandenberg to Fleck. All Blacks having to make some tackles here, near the 22. And the ball turned over. Well, it was a maul. Crowd don't like it, but I think he's got it right.
And Percy Montgomery very quick on his feet, keeping the ball alive. That's where the ball was lost forward.
Wasn't called by the referee.
Yes, well, it is, of course, a maul. And The ball was well up in the air and it was use it or lose it, so it was a correct decision.
Chris Rousseau. Saw Percy Montgomery there. He was born in Namibia, and the curtain raiser today, international curtain raiser. Namibia played Zimbabwe, and Namibia won by 32-17. They'll be at the World Cup, and looked pretty impressive against Zimbabwe.
They did, didn't they? I don't think the defence is what it should have been, but there was some great open rugby.
Here's Marshall off to Mertens. Montgomery having to scurry back here. He's got to the 22. He's got Lomu bearing down, and really that's the only option. Randall has stayed back for the All Blacks. So's Justin Marshall. Marshall has a look at, sees Mertens out to the right, and the Justin Marshall kick out on halfway.
Yes, well, really, they were running across field. The ball was going across field, and the defence was sort of fanning out, drifting across field also, so the counter-attack wasn't on. So Marshall made the right decision, although it's South Africa ball to the line, gives them another opportunity from the halfway. That's one against the throw.
All Blacks in possession. 5 metres on the All Black side of halfway on the Springboks. Holding the ball in.
Wrong side.
Greg Feek enjoying his first full test match. There's a big smile for the opposition. Pretty relaxed sort of a character.
But once again, I can't help but criticise this man, Ed Morrison, because I don't believe he needed to blow the whistle so soon. Really, I mean, Tri-Series rugby expects the game to move and to keep going. This one has tended to be stop-start, and I blame Ed Morrison for that. Clearly a second-rate referee in my mind.
Chris Rousseau, who was in the World Cup winning team, gets time on the field at the expense of Narkadrotsky, and still the All Blacks hold off. Nick Mallett's throwing everything at this period of the game. Still 20 minutes remaining. Maxwell, beautifully done. Got it at the second attempt. Now Mertens across to Uramir. Jonah gets it in plenty of space. Bounces away from Montgomery. And look how many it takes to drag him down on the 22. All Blacks arriving at pace. Now it's carried on by Anton Oliver. They're inside the 22 now, and they set it for Mertens playing halfback. Randall fires a beautiful pass out wide. Cullen and Umaga together. Cullen sailing away, and Christian Cullen gets his second. What a pass from Tane Randall. Cullen gets two.
He went down a heavy tackle too, but Christian Cullen, when he sights the goal line, he's a hard man to stop. He had Umaga outside him, but he kept running and he drew the defence. I think he was looking for both opportunities at the whole time. He was looking for the goal line, but he was also aware of his great friend Umaga outside him. Sold the little dummy and realised he could do it himself, actually. It's the safest option for sure. But he runs so smoothly, doesn't he? Crawl on both hands, aware of his support. Well, it was great defence, actually, in the end by Rousseau, I think it was, who tried to kill the ball right on the goal line. Tane Randall, what a pass for a number 8. Zinzan, look out.
Well, he's injured in the try scorer, and there's real concern here about Christian Cullen. I think there's 2 players down there. Yes, Peter Rousseau, the tackler, and Christian Cullen. And the All Black contingent delighted. Fair few All Black supporters in Pretoria. We saw a few of them at the New Zealand High Commission last night, Murray.
Yes, but there's a lot more Afrikaners in the stadium.
Dead right, didn't see them then.
Yes, it was interesting. A nice invitation to the New Zealand High Commission for all the New Zealanders in Pretoria, and that were about 45 strong, I think.
A big contingent from New Zealand Post, who are over here on a 3-year contract. So Christian Cullen's up and running again. 2 tries tonight for Cullen, up to 30 test tries. And in actual fact, that is 100 first-class tries. So a milestone for Christian Cullen, incredible strike rate. Just his 117th first-class game, he's got 100 tries.
Absolutely extraordinary. The man's got such a high work rate. I fancy Christian Cullen as an option for centre. I think he's showing that tonight, right from the moment that he moved into that position. He's taking the opportunity with both hands. So we now have a world-class player in 3 positions. Christian Cullen, fullback, wing, and now it looks like centre.
Looking to start it right, and it doesn't come round this time for Andrew Mertens. 31 points to 18. And this is how it happened. It was a magnificent pass from Tane Randall, the vision, and Cullen could see that if he kept going, Rousseau tried to flog the ball off him and didn't do a bad job of it.
Now, Rousseau was fantastic defence because he had real trouble because he had a man outside him that he was trying to cover, and yet he was still keeping a half eye on Cullen, which isn't easy.
Well, for his efforts, Peter Rousseau gets sent to the bench and replaced by Stefan Terblanche. And I think the All Blacks might be making a change as well. Craig Dowd is on, and it's Case Muse who's coming to the sideline. So you'll see Craig Dowd. There is number 21.
Not forward, Black.
As they say in the horse racing game, he's been training the house down.
Yes, he's looking keen and hungry to get back into it, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with the scrum now. Craig Dowd, of course, mainly played as a loose head prop, so he's into the tight head position. So this would be a fairly inexperienced front row for New Zealand with Dowd at tight head and Feek at loose head, although the first scrum looked fairly impressive.
Van der Westhuizen nudging ahead, but for once he makes a mistake and kicks it out on the full.
Trying to work out what he was trying to do after that. So that's Case Muse, of course. He must have a little problem with an ear.
Must just be a blood bin, I think, Murray. We'll have to wait and see. Craig Dowd playing his 47th test, coming off that severe ankle problem. Marshall for Mertens. Really has this one high. Kaiser waits and does well again, Dion Kaiser. Van der Westhuizen. Chris Rousseau. Replacements all over the place. Number 19 was Andre Foss. Away for Erasmus. Now a chance for Terblanche with all his pace. But the kick has gone towards the touchline. He can really hike Stefan Terblanche.
But why did he kick it? Clearly overlap. The opportunity for a replacement player, I would think, given to him very easily. Well, I guess that he saw Wilson on his inside, but even so.
Mark Andrews, another one of the replacements. Marshall gets the ball tapped from Brook. Down as far as Terblanche again. Montgomery standing in centre field. All Blacks have come up in a line, so he couldn't do much else. Mertens has called for this. Montgomery bearing down on him. Good head-on tackle, but Mertens slips away. And in the end, they come back, and Montgomery's done well.
Well, he has done very well. In fact, it's a turnover. So somehow he robbed. Justin Marshall's claiming something, but somehow he robbed the ball from Mertens. Hopefully see it in replay. We took him ball and all. Mertens slipped away. So yes, Montgomery certainly. That's twice he's done that in this game where he's gone in. He's been prepared to play like an open side flanker. We see Anton Oliver leaving the field.
Mark Hammett is on. So now John Hart starting to go to the bench. Fleck makes a little dab. Here's a Huffy de Toy halfway through. Ball comes off the foot, I think, of Van der Westhuizen. Marshall. And Andre Foss going back, but Marshall's kick is out on the full.
You had the advantage.
Well, the advantage went long enough, according to Ed Morrison.
You had great possession. You want good possession.
Yes, I think that's a fair call by Ed Morrison. He was playing the advantage, which was good to see, I might add. And then, of course, New Zealand got good ball, and he said, you won good ball, and it wasn't his fault, in other words, that the ball went out on the full.
Rousseau with the throw for Fenter, so both hookers have been replaced in the game. Now, across for Franco Smith. Fleck trying to wade his way through All Black tackles. They've got him up off the ground where they want him. So if he can't get this down, it'll be an All Black turnover, but they have got it through Erasmus. Now Fleck again. Up for Mark Andrews in the number 20 jersey. And the Springboks have knocked it on. Well, 31 points to 18. But the Springboks remain extremely competitive.
Absolutely, and I think we've been here before. 31 points to 18 with 14 minutes left. Same thing happened in Durban not so long ago. The Springboks came back with a miraculous victory right on time.
Case Muse is just a blood bin, so he can come back. I wouldn't be at all surprised if he came back and Greg Feek came to the sideline. We'll have to wait and see what happens. So another penalty against the Springboks.
So it looks like Kelleher is going to come on also.
So Mark Hammett now coming to his first line out. You can see Erasmus has detached well and truly.
In fact, that's Reuben Thorne. I got it wrong. Reuben Thorne on the field for his maiden test match.
Fantastic achievement from Reuben Thorne. There he is, second from the back. And he's got 12 or 13 minutes. Ball hacked on the Springbok side against the All Black throw. So Mark Hammett having an early problem. Here's Erasmus, who hasn't stopped running all day. Away by Rousseau. Fleck, and he knocked it.
Knock off. Wait. Don't get involved.
Feisty little number.
Wait up, please. We're going to come square.
So Andrew Blowers takes a seat, and Reuben Thorne
Now engage, please.
has gone onto the blindside flank. Fed away by Randall to Marshall. Keeps running, Justin Marshall. Now, where's the support for Marshall? He's 10 metres out from the line.
Go on.
And there's the ball. Brook has it knocked away.
Take advantage, he's out.
And it's going to be against the All Blacks. Fired away into midfield. Now Franco Smith. Dragged down by Maxwell. Advantage is over, I would think.
Knock on by Green.
And this time it's knocked on by Green. Well, if that's the case, why didn't we carry on?
Okay, please. Okay.
So it's a New Zealand scrum, a great position. I always think these are the greatest positions to have an attacking scrum, just outside the 22, with quite a large blind side. I see New Zealand have lined up with two players on the short side, Jeff Wilson and Tana Umaga. Tana Umaga hasn't seen much ball in the second half. So what that does, of course, it splits the defence. Should drag Montgomery across on the short side. At the moment he's lingering, as you can see, just behind where the first 5'8" would stand. So in fact they've moved the toy across to the short side,
Let's get it right. You want to just come on, let's get it
which
right.
to me leaves a little hole on the open side.
Wait. Engage.
Good time for the number 8 move it to the open side, perhaps.
Slip this side. Wait. Get it up, Black. Last chance. Get it up. Okay. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. That's all.
13-point advantage for the All Blacks.
Quiet. I can see.
2 tries apiece. Marshall coming open side for Mertens. Straight to Lomu. Again, gang tackle. 4 or 5 of them onto him. Marshall slips the pass to Maxwell, bounces away from Fenter and sets it nicely. Marshall stays blindside up to Mark Hammett. Holds it up again, sets it nicely. Marshall again, feet playing at first 5'8". Throws a nice little deft pass to Iramir.
Somewhat delayed, I'd say.
Yeah, a little bit delayed, and an element of hospital about it.
Absolutely. And the result, ladies and gentlemen, is a turnover. Scrum to South Africa. So there's Big Jonah taking 1 player, 2 player, 3, 4 in fact into that tackle. Ball came back quickly. New Zealand not able to capitalise on it.
Come square. Wait. Square.
So big changes in the front row with Dowd and Hammett there.
Let's start square, please. Now engage.
And down it goes on the loose head side.
But I think that's a fair call. Ed Morrison, Feek had trouble. His left hand hit the deck, and then we saw his shoulder come under.
Hey, quiet.
Let's have a look on replay. Great camera angle, of course. Hand down. No, we didn't see it for long enough.
Justin Marshall's kept this kick in. Jeff Wilson is there, and away they go on the counter-attack up to Umaga. Looks behind him and finds Reuben Thorne, who's got back quickly. All Blacks are 12 metres on their own side of halfway. And holding this up in the more. Now they'll need to get this back shortly. Otherwise it'll be a turnover again, but they seem to be controlling it nicely. They do. So Marshall off to Iramia. Feeds it up to Marshall. Plants it down and lost forward by Thorne, who was first man to the breakdown. Now Andre Vos. Van der Westhuizen taken by Umaga. 5 metres in All Black territory now, and away goes Van der Berg. Lovely back flip pass to Franco Smith. Now Andrews. He's lost the ball forward.
So just a little mistakes coming from South Africa.
Hold the game, please. Hold the game,
Quite
guys.
a number of lost forwards. Ball lost in the tackle during this game, which of course they'll rue. But haven't they come back with a vengeance? So much stronger than they were in the 2 previous Tri-Nations matches against Australia and New Zealand. And this man being an integral part of it, of course. In fact, he's been the catalyst in my mind. Yes, well, that one was lost forward, but I guess there was a New Zealand hand in there too, which could have clouded that issue.
Ground clock still showing 9 minutes remaining. Back goes Kobus Masaki.
Wait. Engage.
You really can't overstate the tremendous influence that Joost van der Westhuizen has had on this Springbok team. Marshall, low for Mertens, chased by van der Westhuizen, cleverly stays inside the 22 and then lets rip, doesn't find touch. Montgomery.
Counter-attack.
Terre Blanche. Counter-attack until the All Blacks arrived, then he kicked it down as far as Marshall. Marshall has support. No, he decides to go on his own. Lomu's there with him. And rather lamely finishes up in touch.
Yes, well, Jonah was actually hanging. He should have been up on support. Justin Marshall had a go at beating his opponent, which he actually did quite effectively. And really, there should have been someone there on the inside for the pass. He certainly signalled his intentions, Marshall, by having a go, and he did so because he had a number of supporting players.
Engage.
Trapped by Erasmus. He's going to go blindside. And
Find on Blacks.
Difficult to understand why he didn't at least give South Africa the opportunity of taking advantage from that situation.
I think he got the call from Jim Fleming for some reason or other. I think it was binding, or lack of it. Change in the All Blacks, Royce Willis into the party.
Keep the space.
And Robin Brooke, who's had, I think, an outstanding game, Larry.
Well, he has, except the kickoffs have been a problem for New Zealand, and that's, of course, Robin's domain.
Here's Royce Willis at number 20. So another replacement on for the All Blacks. Get away for Mertens. And that's another prodigious kick by Andrew Mertens. Montgomery will have to kick it. So he hoists it in the middle. Mertens, Kaiser coming, Kaiser, and in fact it was Cullen who took it, and offside against Dion Kaiser.
10, please.
Mertens goes again. Once more, it doesn't find touch.
Well, I think they're content with putting the ball deep in the Springbok territory and asking the question of the Springbok. They're saying, attack us, have a go at us.
Yeah, there's not too many Springboks back here. They're getting back rather slowly. Some of the bigger forwards are struggling with the pace of the game. And Here's Wilson bearing down on Franco Smith. Well, it was noticeable there on the counter-attack that the big fellas couldn't get back to help.
Which I think is the point that I was making on the counter-attack. New Zealand is asking South Africa to do so, and they're coming up in a line. You can see the line right across the field, good defence. And South Africa, of course, have been opting for the high up and under, which in some respects is the easy option. Or the safe option, should I say.
Mark Hammett with the throw, Reuben Thorne off the top, quickly thrown by Willis. Mertens trying to tidy up, looks for someone to give it to, finds...
Passes forward! Green ball!
I think it's Royce Willis in there, but it was a forward pass.
Pass that forward.
So there it is once again. It's been consistent throughout this
Quicker,
game.
please, backs!
Possession and territory is so evenly fought.
From the free kick, Van der Westhuizen goes quickly.
On his feet, on his feet!
5 metres in All Black territory. And it's a turnover. So Marshall goes blindside with Umaga. Lovely pass to off, hang on. He's given it forward. Wilson was away for all money. And now the All Blacks have given the referee a bit of advice.
Well, they weren't happy, of course. But I'd like to see that on replay. It looked an excellent manoeuvre to me. This is the play just before, of course, that created the turnover. And here's the turnover we see effectively done. Let's have a little look here. Well, looked pretty good to me, pretty clinical. Wilson was under the sticks.
So dear old Ed has kept blowing the whistle right to the end.
7 black.
31-18. Vandenberg with the clean take. That's the All Black 22-metre line. 13-point advantage. Van der Westhuizen to Venter. Kronfeld again gets through another tackle. And this penalty's right in front. Too late to kick for goal. So Van der Westhuizen goes again. Hands it up to Ollie LaRue.
And Ollie LaRue's held up, ball and all.
The All Blacks will get this in. They must do.
Claps ball.
Crucial turnover. The 3 points was there. Ewers took the quick one, which he has to do.
Come away, please. Clap small.
He wants to continue
Turnover.
the take it to New Zealand theme. But this was a crucial mistake. Great defence by Royce Willis. He turned him and held him up, as you can see, staunchly with his back to the opposition.
Wait, engage.
Marshall from the base of the scrum. Montgomery manages to keep it in. Confronted by Umaga. Tries to get on the outside of him. That's no way through.
You see now the crowd is giving him heaps. But why would they be giving him heaps? He's trying to keep the ball alive. He's trying various options. I think it's unfair, but they've certainly got it in for him. It almost reminds me of Alan Hewson playing fullback for the All Blacks at Canterbury at Lancaster Park. As though the crowd was against him before the game started. Well, they certainly have been in Pretoria. We've been hearing it before the match.
Now Umaga gets the ball under a fair bit of pressure. Kronfeld is there with him. Halfway line for the All Black forward pack. There's some fresh legs in there now.
So they're driving forward. The time to release the ball, of course, is now.
Mertens. And Tane Randall puts it down. He had all sorts of ideas what to do with it just before he got it. Couple of minutes left at Loftus. 31 points to 18. Huge improvement in the Springboks. Du Toit for Smith. Kaiser for Montgomery, not going anywhere at the moment. Now Percy Montgomery hands off Mertens and really starts to straighten. Couldn't find any support, threw it away. Taken down for the All Blacks by Mark Hammett. So Marshall with a characteristic burst up the middle. Mertens off to Kronfeld, now Randall. Just 5 metres in Springbok territory. Big strong defence in close, and another loud peal on the whistle signifies that the Springboks haven't rolled clear of the ball.
Away from the ball.
The All Blacks might be happy to kick for goal here.
Well, I'm looking at the time clock at the stadium. It says 1 minute remaining. So Mertens doing what I think is probably the obvious thing to do at 31 points to 18. He's been kicking consistently well this week, as he did last week.
6 penalty goals tonight for Andrew Mertens. So if he lands this, makes it 7. That'll be a record for the All Blacks against South Africa's passing the 6 Shane Howarth landed in 1994. Swinging it round. Another outstanding kick from Andrew Mertens, a 7th penalty goal. 34 points to 18, and it's all over. Joost van der Westhuizen.
So, disappointment for South Africa. 3 losses out of 3, but the All Black machine marches on. This is the table as it stands at the moment. New Zealand on top on 12 points. Australia on 5 points. South Africa still yet to get off the mark. And that was New Zealand's biggest win in South Africa. Well, brief reaction from you guys. Stuart, disappointment really for Springboks. Where do they go from here?
Well, they've got to get their basics right. Today, New Zealand weren't at their very best, but New Zealand presentation was excellent. New Zealand defence was good. Their kicking game was good. They had structure. In contrast, South Africa had nothing. And this guy, Cullen, at centre, you know, he's a world beater.
And Bob, what about the All Blacks? Truly impressive again today.
Impressive. Made one constructive play for Cullen's first try. Very nice, that, but I'd like to see a lot more from them. If they're going to be the best team in the world, I still think they've got to be better in that constructive midfield.
So, Stuart, you think going on from here, I mean, New Zealand could effectively next week win the tournament without even playing?
Well, they can, but they're not too worried about that. They're building up for the World Cup. What New Zealand are looking at is the balance in their game, and I'll be intrigued to see if the forced experiment of Cullen with his pace going to outside centre stays, with Lomu, Umunga and Wilson. Now, with that triangle and Cullen outside centre, we could then see New Zealand go on the extra stage that Bob was just talking about.
It was an experiment that seemed to work, though, wasn't it, today?
Sometimes it's forced on you, Bob.
Well, they obviously had it in their mind, because you have to work out your strategy for replacements if someone gets injured, and that was what they'd come up with, and it certainly worked. Such a great player, Cullen. You can play him hooker and he'll be okay.
Okay. Well, my thanks to Stuart and Bob. The misery for Springboks continues. The All Black machine marches on. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey now, you're an all-star.